Well, guys, it's not looking good. And this is extra strong right now because I need it. So if you guys follow me at all, you'll know that the button in the 400, when I went out for a ring seating, it pretty much came apart in under a mile. On the way back, it started making noise, and at that point, when I pulled it out and you guys saw the damage to the button, I was able to fix that. But in my eyes, I was like, you know what, whatever happened to the button coming apart and that little quick drive, whatever you hear, any noise, the damage is pretty much already done. So I went ahead, fixed the button, drove around, and it was 60 PSI oil pressure. Man, the thing was like good. I gassed it twice on the way home just to put some load on it. And I'll tell you right now, this thing puts that LT1 right there to shame. Like, hands down, this 400 is like a 100 shot in a, when the LT1 is not a 100 shot. So, decided, well, let's change the oil and we'll see what comes out. Because in my eyes, the damage is already done. And it was a lot worse than I anticipated. Just look in there. That's some of the shit that came out. You know, just some of the stuff. That's Mr. Sparkles is really a Mr. Sparkles right now, inside and out. So that definitely is not too good. So at first I was like, you know, maybe all that came from the button, but a lot of this wasn't magnetic, so it has to be some type of bearing material, unfortunately. If it was all magnetic, it was coming up, it would all be from the trunnion bearing, from the button. But since I already changed the oil and all that, I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and look at it. Another filter, change it, run it for like 5 minutes, just kind of rev it up, give it time to circulate and see what happened. And I looked in here and there's absolutely nothing coming out. So, you know, I was still pretty concerned. I was like, you know, there's no telling how much that stuff is in there, but let me hit up the motor builder, because you can look in here, absolutely completely clean after changing the oil, starting it up, and it still had 60 PSI of oil pressure. I was like, you know what, let me hit up the engine builder, see what he thought, because, you know, I don't want to, but you know, I kind of thought that I probably should pull the motor, just check the bearings, and he concurred that pull it out, check the bearings, we'll go from there. So this is to you, Mr. 400. You'll be that one motor that when I hit you in the gas, you were hauling ass, but we gotta pull you out. Extra spicy. But anyways, let me step over all this stuff. Gotta clean up, take the wife to some dinner real quick. So we're gonna pull her out, and my only concern is I saw a lot of copper looking material in there, which is probably bearings, unfortunately. So it's gonna have to come out and we'll look at it and see where damage is. Worst case scenario, this is the worst case scenario. Motor builder comes over, doesn't really want to work with me too much. You know, I'm not one to argue with anything, guys. You know, at this point in my life, I'm just gonna roll with the punches and do what I gotta do. Worst case scenario, hopefully the crank's not too scarred, but crank had to be turned, new cam bearings, new crank bearings, new rod bearings, but the clearances and all that are gonna be pretty close to being set. So I'll get the crank will be turned, whatever it is. I can get the new crank bearings, get the new rod bearings, all that stuff will be set up correctly. Get a new cam and new lifters, new head gaskets, new oil pan gasket, new oil pump, and then she'll be back in here. I know it sounds like a lot, but I would be doing all this now for you guys in video. I'll pull it out in video, put it on the stand, in video, and we'll do it all so you guys can see it. So that's what we're doing next. Hello, my precious. Nice and clear liquid of F it. Okay, so all BS aside, I will say this. Let's brighten up this little tiny bit here in the camera. All right, so the 400 to a 350. If there's any of you guys contemplating, you know, maybe I should upgrade my 350 and put a 400 cubic inch motor in my car. Let me just set the rules straight. You freaking should. Because a couple of times, the 2 times before I came back and discovered all this crap, when I floored it, there is no replacement for displacement. That saying is exactly true. Because, you know, the 350, you would hit it and it would take a second and you get to a little power band and it would start pulling. The 400, the moment you hit the gas, it was just hello. It's pretty much like the 350 right here, 357 LT1 on nitrous 100 shot. But this guy is NA. So if you want 150 more horsepower, the feeling of that, NA, all that bottom end torque that gives you that, that man grunt, just go to a 400. So what we're doing next, we're gonna pull this guy out, put it on the stand and investigate. And I'm gonna tell you right now that I'm pretty sure that there's a good bit of bearing material eaten up. I just hope it's not too bad. So we'll see that in the next video. I'm gonna drink some more of that guy right there because I'm pretty bummed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty bummed. Pull it out, but this is racing, this is car stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.